Nicknames aside, there's no joking about what the Browns just pulled off. A trade that mirrors the personality of Cleveland itself. Tough, risky, and all heart. A.J. Brown's arrival isn't just a roster move. It's a cultural shift. The Browns are embracing their underdog fire and taking a stand against years of conservative planning. Fans who endure heartbreak after heartbreak now see a front office that finally reflects their own resilience. It's not about optics. It's about pride. In A.J. Brown, Cleveland gains a proven producer with deep playoff experience. If you're into the real story and all the messy twists they don't show on highlight reels, go ahead and subscribe. And if you're sticking around to see how this Browns QB chaos plays out, you should definitely be subscribed. Something this team's lacked since its last real run. His pairing with Sanders may be raw, but it's also full of potential. Brown changes defensive schemes the moment he lines up. He opens a field for younger playmakers and gives Sanders a safety valve with superstar upside. This isn't just a play for wins. It's a statement of values that the Browns are done flinching. The Cleveland Browns are done playing it safe. Just when you thought this franchise was still stuck in a rebuild rut, they drop a bombshell that flips the entire league on its head. A.J. Brown, the same A.J. Brown who helped turn the Eagles into a juggernaut, is now packing his bags for Cleveland. Yes, the Browns have just pulled off one of the boldest moves of the season, trading away draft capital, including a coveted first-round pick, to snag one of the most dominant wide receivers in the NFL. This isn't just a flashy headline. It's a strategic swing with serious implications. A.J. Brown isn't a gamble. He's a proven force. A physical, relentless, yard-eating wideout who doesn't just move the chains, he breaks them. And now he's in brown and orange. For a team that struggled to find a true WR1, this is more than a roster move. At the center of this dramatic shift stands rookie quarterback Shedeur Sanders. Fresh out college ball, still adjusting to the speed and violence of the NFL, Sanders has been thrown into the fire. The Browns aren't easing him in, they're giving him weapons. They're saying, figure it out, fast. Because with A.J. Brown lined up, there's no room left for excuses. Sanders' rookie journey hasn't been easy. He's taken hits, both literally and metaphorically, and made his share of rookie mistakes. But what's earned him respect isn't perfection, it's honesty. He's talked openly about the learning curve, about how hard it's been to keep up with defenses that don't give second chances. That kind of transparency isn't always popular, but it's real, and that's why fans are still holding on to hope. Let's not sugarcoat it. The Browns' offense has looked lost at times this season. With inconsistent line play, a revolving door of injured players, and zero deep ball threats, it's been painful to watch. Defenses have stacked the box, daring Cleveland to throw, knowing they didn't have anyone to stretch the field. A.J. Brown changes all of that. Suddenly, you have a guy who demands double coverage, a guy who bullies cornerbacks, a guy who turns a 5-yard slant into a 60-yard nightmare. That shifts the entire defense. It opens up space for the run game. It lightens the load on Sanders, and it gives this offense something it hasn't had in years: identity. Head coach Kevin Stefanski has been under pressure all season. Every decision has been scrutinized, every play call dissected. But this is the kind of move that changes how people talk about you. Trading for A.J. Brown, says Stefanski, isn't waiting around to see if things improve. He's ready to force the issue. It also signals trust in Sanders, in the coaching staff, and in the locker room. Stefanski knows this is a high-risk, high-reward play, and that's exactly why it matters. It's a pivot away from cautious, conservative team building towards something bolder, something more Cleveland. Look back at Shedeur's performance in recent games, especially against the Vikings. The nerves were there, so were the growing pains. But you could see the flashes, tight window throws, quick reads under pressure, and the kind of poise that doesn't show up on the stat sheet. He's not the finished product, but he doesn't look overwhelmed either. Adding a top-tier receiver like Brown gives Sanders a chance to speed up that growth. It's not just about completions, it's about confidence. When a quarterback trusts that his guy will come down with the ball, he plays freer. He throws with authority. And if Sanders can build that chemistry quickly, the rest of the AFC better watch out. There's also the contract factor. A.J. Brown isn't some rental piece. He's locked in. That gives the Browns stability at one of the most volatile positions in football. And for a franchise that cycled through wideouts like a broken jukebox, that stability is everything. It gives the offense a centerpiece to build around, now and for the next several seasons. What's wild is that some fans still see this as a win-now desperation move. But this isn't reckless. It's calculated. The Browns still hold plenty of draft picks. They didn't mortgage the entire future. They made a targeted decision to fix one of their biggest issues, while keeping flexibility intact. Meanwhile, the rest of the quarterback room is watching closely. Dylan Gabriel, who's gotten his own reps this season, now sees the front office doubling down on Sanders. That's not a knock on Gabriel. It's just a reality check. The Browns believe Sanders is the guy, and they're building around him like it. This kind of clarity matters in a locker room. When your franchise stops waffling and starts making definitive moves, players notice. It creates direction. It forces buy-in. And if you're not with it, you're getting left. Sanders knows the pressure's on. He's not just learning a new playbook. He's doing it with every camera in the league watching. But he's not hiding from it. His post-game interviews haven't been sugar-coated or prepackaged. When he's made mistakes, he's owned them. When he's struggled, he's said so. That vulnerability, it's rare, and it's why a lot of players respect him. Now, with a star receiver in a huddle, Sanders has a chance to flip the narrative. He's not the project quarterback anymore. He's the leader of a team that's gunning for the playoffs. It's a whole new kind of pressure, but it's also a huge opportunity. Let's talk timing. The Browns are entering a brutal stretch of games. The playoff math is getting tight. Every snap counts. Every blown coverage could end the season. That's why this trade is so significant. They're not waiting until next year. They're not saving cap space for some future scenario. They're trying to win now. And honestly, that kind of urgency has been missing for years. Cleveland has spent too many seasons watching from the sidelines while other teams rolled the dice. Not anymore. This trade, it's the kind of boldness that makes a city believe again. Of course, none of this guarantees success. Chemistry takes time. The schedule isn't forgiving, and opposing defenses will be ready. But what this move shows is that Cleveland is done accepting mediocrity. They're not afraid to make enemies. They're not afraid to lose if it means they're playing to win. And whether it works or not, it sends a message loud and clear to the fans of the league and to the players. The Cleveland Browns are here to compete. Not someday. Now. Think back to training camp. The talk around Shadur Sanders was mostly hopeful, but cautious. Rookie quarterback. Big shoes to fill, a lot of adjusting ahead. Everyone expected some stumbles. But what no one expected was how quickly he'd be asked to lead. There wasn't supposed to be this much pressure, this early. Yet here we are, less than a full season into his NFL career, and he's suddenly at the center of a playoff push with a superstar weapon on his side. And that pressure, it doesn't scare him. Even when the game speeds up, even when the losses sting, Sanders has carried himself like someone who gets it. Not just the X's and O's, but the responsibility that comes with being QB1. He knows the fans aren't just watching, they're expecting. And this A.J. Brown trade, it just raised the bar again. This all circles back to Stefanski, because it's not just about acquiring talent. It's about how you use it. Getting A.J. Brown means nothing if the game plan can't support it. Stefanski's been criticized in the past for being too conservative, too reliant on short yardage plays that grind the game to a halt. But now, the playbook has to open up. With Brown on the field, you're expected to attack. No more checkdowns on 3rd and long. No more punting from midfield when you're down 2 scores. You've got to go for it. Stefanski is being given a top-tier chess piece, and it's on him to make it count. Because if he plays as safe, he's wasting it. There's a reason A.J. Brown is considered elite. He doesn't just catch balls, he bullies secondaries. His route running, his strength after the catch, his ability to high-point the ball, it all forces defenses to adjust. And that's the domino effect. One player forces a ripple across an entire defensive scheme. Double Brown? That leaves someone else open. Stack the box? He'll beat you deep. Play zone? He'll find the soft spot. There's no easy solution when he's healthy and locked in. And for Sanders, having that kind of trust in a receiver could be the difference between overthinking a throw and ripping it with. But don't forget, Sanders is still learning. Every week is a new defensive look, a new blitz package, a new test. What sets him apart isn't just physical tools. It's his mental toughness. His ability to own his flaws and keep improving is what's kept him upright in a season that could have broken a less prepared rookie. When he speaks, there's no scripted bravado. He tells the truth. He knows when he misreads. He knows when the timing was off. And that accountability, it trickles down. Veterans notice it. Coaches respect it. Fans connect with it. And now, he's got a superstar receiver expecting him to rise to the occasion. The remaining schedule isn't a cakewalk. These final games are loaded with playoff implications, division rivals, tight wildcard races, national broadcasts, and now a microscope aimed directly at Cleveland. Everyone wants to know, can this team back up the hype? They've got the pieces. Brown, Garrett, Sanders, a solid backfield rotation, and a front office willing to take risks. But that only gets you so far. Now it's execution. Now it's finishing drives, limiting penalties, and playing clean in the red zone. One turnover could mean the difference between January football and another early. On the defensive side, Myles Garrett has been holding it down all season. He's been vocal about the need for consistency, something this team has struggled with for years. Garrett's not the type to sugarcoat things. He said it before, talent means nothing without discipline. And you better believe he's keeping that same energy now. With A.J. Brown coming in, the offense will get most of the attention. But Garrett knows this isn't just about scoring more. It's about playing complementary football. Defense feeds off momentum, and a few quick scores from the offense can make the pass rush even more dangerous. If this team gets hot on both sides, that's when they become a real problem. There's also the locker room factor. A.J. Brown isn't just stepping onto the field. He's stepping into a team dynamic that's still finding its identity. Bringing in a big personality mid-season can be tricky, but everything coming out of the organization suggests this is a locker room that wants to win above all else. Brown's not coming in to be a savior. He's coming in to contribute. And if the chemistry clicks, this could be one of the fastest on-field transformations we've seen in recent Browns history. One player, one trade can change everything. That's the bet Cleveland just made. After the deal was announced, Stefanski didn't waste time playing coy. He spoke plainly about the urgency. He talked about the window this team has, about how you can't always wait for the perfect moment. Sometimes you have to create it. That's exactly what this trade is about. This is the kind of coaching moment that defines a tenure. If it works, Stefanski becomes a coach who brought Cleveland back into serious contention. If it fails, it's another bold swing that didn't connect. But one thing's clear. He's betting on himself, and he's betting on this team to respond. As for Sanders, this could be a turning point. Not just in the season, but in his career. Every young quarterback needs that one game. The one where it all clicks. The right throws, the right reads, the right decisions under pressure. This trade might just give him that chance. The matchups are only getting harder. The expectations are only getting higher. But the opportunity? It's massive. If Sanders can step up and connect with Brown early, it's going to shift how the entire league views him. From a rookie finding his footing to a leader driving a playoff push. All of this comes back to what it means to be a Cleveland Brown right now. The franchise isn't chasing hope. They're manufacturing it. They're turning years of disappointment into something tangible. Something fans can believe in week after week. This move didn't come out of desperation. It came from confidence. That matters, because it means the team sees something real in this roster, something worth investing in. And for a city that's waited far too long to be taken seriously, that belief, it's everything. It says, we're not just here to survive another season. We're here to take it. This is bigger than just a wide receiver joining a new team. A.J. Brown represents a shift in philosophy, a line in the sand. The Browns aren't interested in being respectable anymore. They're going for it. Full throttle. They've looked around the AFC. seen the firepower in places like Kansas City, Baltimore, and Miami, and decided to stop playing from behind. This move says, we're done being reactive. We're going to dictate the tempo now. With Brown stretching the field, the offense won't just exist. It will attack. And that means game plans are about to change. Not just for Cleveland, but for everyone who plays them. When Sanders addressed the media after the trade, you could feel the shift. He wasn't wide-eyed. He wasn't rattled. He looked focused, determined, like a guy who understands what this moment means. He talked about timing, about trust, about knowing that when you have someone like AJ out wide, your margin for error tightens. But so does your ceiling. He didn't beg for more help. He didn't shift blame. But you could tell he was ready for reinforcements. And now that he's got one of the best in the league lining up next to him, the pressure is squarely on his shoulders to deliver. Welcome to the NFL. It's not hard to see why the Browns had to act. In too many games this season, the offense just stalled out. Third quarters with no rhythm. Drives ending in field goals, or worse. Defensive efforts wasted because the offense couldn't stay on the field. The fans knew it. The players knew it. Something had to break. And this trade? It's a sign that the front office isn't tone deaf. They didn't double down on patience. They doubled down on firepower. You can't scheme your way around lack of talent forever. Eventually, you need guys who win one-on-ones. A.J. Brown is that guy. Go back to the Ravens game. Cleveland fought hard, but they couldn't finish. The routes were short. The windows were tight. There was no one to stretch the defense vertically, and Baltimore took full advantage. They crowded the line, forced Sanders to throw into traffic, and dared someone to beat them over the top. No one did. That game exposed exactly what this offense was missing. It's not just about having a deep threat. It's about keeping defenses honest. And now, the next time they play a team like Baltimore, the coverage will have to respect the boundary. That opens everything up. There's also the intangible piece. A.J. Brown brings swagger. He brings that edge. And right now, this team needs more than just clean routes and reliable hands. They need presence. Brown has been in playoff battles. He's played in hostile environments. He knows what it takes to win, and more importantly, he knows what it takes to lead. For a young offense, having that kind of tone setter matters. The weight of expectation doesn't sit on just one guy anymore. It spreads across the field. And with Brown on the roster, the excuses start to dry up. It's time to produce. Think back to preseason. Sanders was raw. The arm talent was there. The vision, a work in progress. But what stood out most was his demeanor. Even in meaningless snaps, he carried himself like a franchise QB. Not perfect, not polished, but steady. And now, the arc of his rookie year has changed. With a legit WR1 at his side, his development accelerates, whether he's ready or not. Every throw is a test. Every coverage read is a puzzle. But the ceiling just went up, way up. Of course, it's not all sunshine and deep balls. This trade does come with risk. You gave up a first-round pick. You tightened your cap space. You're betting on a young quarterback to handle the weight of an aggressive timeline. That's not nothing. But here's the thing. Greatness doesn't come from playing scared. And the Browns have spent too many seasons being cautious, hoping things click, hoping young guys take leaps, hoping the locker room gels. This trade says hope isn't enough anymore. You have to build it. You have to force it. You have to go take it. Brown's arrival also elevates expectations across the board. It's not just Sanders who has to step up. It's the offensive line. It's the coordinators. It's the wide receiver room. There's no more hiding. No more next year talk. The Browns just made a win-now move. That means execution has to match ambition. And the locker room knows it. The vets, they've seen trades like this go both ways. But if they see a team swinging for the fences, it gives them a reason to grind. A reason to believe that maybe, just maybe, this season won't end in. One of the most important pieces in all this is Sanders' mindset. Because it would be easy to feel overwhelmed right now. A mid-season roster change, mounting pressure, and the entire city watching to see how you respond? That's a lot for any rookie. But Sanders isn't running from it. He's leaning into it. His interviews have been honest without being apologetic. He knows what's expected. And that willingness to face it head-on is why people believe in him. Even through the growing pains, he hasn't folded. And with Brown by his side, we're about to see if that poise can turn into production. This next stretch of games is going to define not just this season, but this version of the Browns. If they get hot, if the connection between Sanders and Brown ignites, we could be looking at a team no one wants to face in December. But if they can't get on the same page, the questions come back. The doubt creeps in. The noise gets louder. That's the reality of this gamble. High risk, high reward. But here's the bottom line. The Browns aren't trying to win later. They're trying to win now. And that urgency, it changes everything. And now, it all comes down to execution. The trade been made, the headlines have popped, and the buzz is loud. But hype doesn't win games. What happens next is about grit. Can Sanders find A.J. Brown in tight windows on third down? Can the offense build trust and rhythm in real time, under real pressure with real stakes? Cleveland fans know better than anyone. Talent is only part of the equation. It's about who shows up when the moment demands it. And the moments are coming fast. Division matchups, primetime lights, cold weather football with everything on the line. This is where reputations are made or broken. What the Browns have done is declare war on mediocrity. They've taken the safe timeline, torn it up, and replaced it with a challenge. Win now or fall trying. And that energy, that's something fans can feel. The dog pound doesn't cheer for cautious. It cheers for fire. So now we watch. We watch to see if A.J. Brown lights up secondaries like he's done before. We watch to see if Shadur Sanders grows into the guy they believe he can be. And we watch to see if the city, long overlooked and underestimated, finally gets a payoff it's been grinding for. If you've been yelling at your screen all season, hoping for this team to take a stand, this is your moment. Drop a comment with your thoughts on the trade. Do you love it? Hate it? Are you cautiously optimistic or fully on board the hype train? And if you're riding with the Browns through the chaos, make sure to hit that like button. Subscribe for the latest meltdowns and miracles. And share this with someone who still thinks Cleveland isn't serious. Because ready or not, the Browns just raise the stakes.